Phil Jacobus here at Healthcare Business News, and today I'm joined by my old friend and colleague, Mike Pringle. Mike, welcome to Healthcare Business News.
Nice to speak to you in New York, Phil.
So Mike, for many of you may know him. He was an executive with General Electric in Europe, also with ADAC, and also he was the director of Alliance Medical for a time. Very interesting and cosmopolitan guy. So Mike, what's it like there and Mike's in the UK today. What town are you in? I forget.
I'm in a place called High Wycombe, which is 25 miles outside the centre of London. So yeah, basically London.
And how are things in the UK right now?
Well, we are coming out of lockdown like a lot of countries. We are getting slightly more sane. Restaurants start opening shortly. It's getting back to some sort of normality, but getting back to what it used to be is a long way away yet. But it's good. And the weather is nice, which always helps.
I think you told me the weather is 90, or by US standards, 90 degrees today?
Over 90 degrees, which is really exceptional from around here. So I'm going to have a couple of drinks in the garden later on. Nice.
Now, what are groceries like? What's it like in the grocery stores?
Grocery stores, there was initial rush because to do home deliveries. So all the big stores, and there's a lot around here, were all had a problem ramping up. I think anyone who can get it delivered gets it delivered. Like a lot of models, it's changed a lot and it won't go back to where it was. You know, there were quite a lot of deliveries to homes before. You know, frankly, the limitation is the number of vans they can put on the road to deliver goods, because if you've got money, you'd rather not go into a shop, although it's safer now, than go into a shop. So it's kind of changing, like a lot of other things. Shops in this country are going to suffer significantly. They were in a downturn all the time. Online shopping gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Right. What about masks? Are people in the UK wearing masks, or?
It is now obligatory to wear masks in public transport. You see probably 50% of people when they're outside wearing masks. I think it's slightly weird. People who are nowhere near anyone else wear masks, which I think is quite strange. But it's becoming fairly common, very common to see people, and it is mandatory in public transport.
How about healthcare in the UK? Do you think healthcare delivery in the UK will change?
Oh, dramatically. It probably needed to change. I think, you know, we have the National Health Service has been applauded by the public, mostly because doctors and nurses are selfless, not because the structure and organization has been any good. Because frankly, the structure of the NHS leaves a lot to be desired. There are some disconnects everywhere, which have become apparent because the country didn't react very quickly. And if you look at the mortality rate in the UK, it's fourth highest in the world after Andorra, San Marino, Belgium. So it's the highest per capita mortality rate in the world. You may measure it different ways in different places, but it's still very high.
So is this any sort of wake-up call, or will the NHS change the way they do things, or will it be
I think they will have to, but of course governments are very good at promising stuff and not particularly good at delivering it. So there'll be a lot of smoke and mirrors about what they're going to do. Whether it actually transpires that they can change radically is another matter entirely. Most healthcare systems have a record of promising a lot and not delivering what they promised.
How about the UK economy and the world economy? Do you have any predictions about that?
The recovery will initially be fairly quick. It'll take a very long time to get back to where it was before. So the initial recovery will be good, you know, from a very low bar. But for it to get back to where it was 6 months ago will probably, in my view, take 3 years as a minimum.
I see. Now, you were always a very quite an international traveler. You've been all over the world. How you probably aren't traveling right now. When do you think people will travel for leisure?
In Europe, because the numbers have gone down so much, and it may be a mistake because there may be a second spike, but I think the general view, well, airlines are now saying they're going to start operating within a week or two in volume. And going to effectively the holiday, the Mediterranean is where people go, so Spain, Portugal, France, Italy, Greece. And there's a lot of people who haven't had a vacation for a long time will want to go and do that. What the impact will be on the coronavirus re-spiking is questionable, but I think there's the danger is that the airline business is going to collapse unless they let it go. So it's like a lot of things. There are trade-offs between health and economy, which are quite difficult.
Well, things here in the United States are similar. Our airlines are not anywhere near capacity. Center seats are kept idle. You must wear a mask on the airplane. And people are reluctant to travel. All of the trade shows, as you may know, the European Radiology Congress, the RSNA, the SNMMI, AAMI, all shows were canceled, or have gone virtual. So yeah. I tend to agree with you that when I look at my stock portfolio, I'm not even thinking about 2020. I'm just like praying for 2021.
Yeah, I think you mentioned trade shows. I think that's an interesting one. Those were in the current format. I used to go to RSNA as you did in the 80s and 90s and 2000s, and this is a big, multinational, huge event, and it's been slowly declining. I think this will accelerate the decline. I think it's going to be very difficult for those businesses to come back at the scale they were at, even though they were declining already. And I think it's a shame because in my experience, although we're doing this on Zoom, Phil, there's no substitute for meeting face-to-face. And what concerns me about the world right now is that people are getting used to day-to-day only interacting remotely on Zoom and on Skype and on all those other platforms. And I think it's a shame because if we carry on going down that route, all we're going to do is sit in our office and speak to each other like we're doing right now.
Yes. We've interviewed several trade show executives, and they all point out that there's no substitute for face-to-face meetings.
Yeah.
On that note, I hope that the two of us have a chance to see each other face-to-face sometime in the near future. And I thank you for joining us today, Michael.